Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to Worse Than You with me, Mo Fry-Pasek. I'm Mo, and every week I'm asking today's most captivating artists how they got their acts together. The show isn't about their best or most famous work. It's about the work that means the most to them, how it exemplifies their creative process, and why they make their art. This week's guest is a mother, winner, and four-time competitor of the hit TV series Survivor and breakout star of The Traitors on Peacock. She holds advanced certifications in yoga, meditation, and breathwork. And she's the author of the forthcoming memoir, Nice Girls Don't Win, How I Burned It All Down to Claim My Power. Please welcome to the pod, Parvati Shallow. Ready, set, show! Action.
Okay, hi, Mo. I don't want to come in too soon.
Permission now. No, listen, the dynamic was established incredibly. Now we can pass it back and forth.
Okay, I love that you are topping me in this conversation.
Yes, 100%.
Thank you for that.
That's just a healthy way to start.
Safe.
When I top to start, I say, you're welcome to be safe here. I'm taking care of you.
I really appreciate that. I feel very held.
How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to talk with you today. This is a really fun topic of conversation for me.
I had a feeling it'd be fun for you. I'm so excited because, on this podcast, a lot of people who maybe don't necessarily have an awareness of their own process get to look back and get to see it, and then get to see who they were sort of collaborating with, be it themselves or, creative partners or spirit, whatever it is. And you have such, oh my goodness. It's like if we zoom out and look at processes, we could start anywhere. We could start with literally writing your book or letting go of perceptions or creating something that then becomes beyond you and then living with that. There's so many spaces in which your process is, such like a relinquishing and detachment. And I'm so excited to see what parts of it you have honed and embraced. And also for people to read your book, because you talk about this.
Yeah, the book was, this is my most vulnerable project ever, where I'm sharing so much of my most tender parts of myself and my life. And I don't really get a chance to tell my own story. When I do reality television, my story is out of my hands and someone else takes it and does what they want with it. So for me, it was really important to get to a place in my life where I could sit and take the time to reflect and go over the experiences that I'd had, slow down, and then work with someone. I worked with a writing coach, this really talented, very skilled woman named Sarah Harrington, who lives in New York City, and she teaches writing classes online. And I'd taken some of her writing classes before I started writing my book. And then I was like, you know what? I want to hire her privately. So it turned into this cathartic, therapeutic, she was basically my therapist, but also teaching me how to write.
Yeah.
At the same time. It was invaluable. I would have paid her millions of dollars, but she was very affordable, thankfully. I don't have millions of dollars, but I would have paid her anything.
Well, listen, if this goes well, she could maybe get you those millions.
Yeah.
The book's gonna pop off, baby. That strikes me because in the writing process of my play, one of the things that actually changed me wasn't talking about the experiences themselves, but my director, Sudie Green, we'd have these moments where I would have to tell all these stories, logistically, I'd have to share them to be does this have value to the greater story? And so that witnessing was the most healing part. It wasn't even it was hard to describe and differentiate with people of like the therapy in this is the connection of this person seeing all these stories versus like writing the actual or like having people read the actual book.
Yes. And then the best books that I've read have felt like a transmission of energy from the author directly to me where I can feel the story in my body as well. So as I was writing this, I was really embodied in the process of writing. And I wrote about the experience in my body, sometimes the sensations. And I made the book very sensational because I want readers to feel the story. Because really for me, it's a service project. Like my book is a service project. It was in service to me to get me from a place of confusion, not understanding how I'd gotten to a place of, I don't want to be here in my life, to get me out of that and to move me into a place of, oh, I trust myself. I know myself. I'm creating my life from my own place of power and authority inside me. Yes. I wanted to take readers from start to finish through that experience with me. And it helped to have the mirroring.
Yes, but it's also so responsible, right? Like I think a lot of artists, when they're talking about trauma, you can feel when it is someone who is doing it in need of being seen or maybe not actually in the intent of healing or whatever it is, but it's so responsible to go, okay, I'm healing this as much as anyone can at any point in their life, and I'm using it in service of trying to let the reader feel the healing I experience because they get to understand my emotions or feel it, but you're landing the plane. You're like, I want to take you start to finish. I don't want to just open a live wire trigger. I want this to be in service of something greater. And that is such like a responsible artist of you. I love that.
Thank you. I've really learned that through life coaching, like building my business as a life coach. Because when I work with my clients, a lot of people will come to me because they are stuck and they don't know how to move forward in their lives, or they have some past trauma that they haven't dealt with and it's influencing their current situation and they don't know how to move through it. So I have learned through working with people over the past, 8 years, as long as I've been doing the life coaching, that meeting people where they are and then gently kind of titrating the experience of, okay, we can look this far into your past, but now we need to pull back out and go take a walk or go have a bath or do something to take care of yourself. Because I can drop into the depths. Like I can go there myself.
Oh yeah.
I do these crazy like breathwork retreats that are like 3 hours of holotropic, psychedelic breathing. I can take myself there because I know that I'm not going to get stuck there. But I want to make sure that if I'm working with someone, it's a very safe experience with that person, that there's no risk of you getting stuck in like a trauma situation.
And that's the greatest gift of like healers and guides, right? And I think even in my process, like I similarly, like people who've experienced trauma and have gotten through it to be back online in many ways in their bodies and in their lives, have this ability where it's like, I have this amazing relationship with the unknown, this sort of liminal space between you can dance and sing there where it's heavenly. And then the gift you give, right, is like, people are walking in the dark and you're like, oh, it's actually chill. It's so fun to walk in the dark. Like you don't even, but it's like, so then people don't know how to get back there. And then people also think that if you activate the trudging up, if you just say that this thing happened or whatever, that's the healing work. And it's like, no, it's actually somatic. It's actually taking that and integrating it in a very active way that is, I just think, especially with what you have before you're even aware of your life coaching, present it on screen, there is always a measure of awareness in it and a measure of understanding that there is like a bigger picture. And I think that's like, for you to exemplify that so much more specifically in this is exciting to me.
Yeah, it was really important to me. I dedicated the book to my daughter. And It's because as I was looking back over my own childhood, I've never examined my childhood. I grew up in a commune with a very controlling guru who was the figurehead of the community, who was terrifying.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of bowed down to this person. And I never really looked at that because the way my parents talked about it was, you had an idyllic childhood. They protected me from a lot of the guru's stuff, and they got us out permanently when I was 9 years old. And some of the other parents didn't do that, of the kids that were still in the community.
Yeah.
So they did protect us and kind of buffer us from some of that stuff. But that was like the water I swam in. That was the air I breathed. It was coercive control. It was high control. It was emotional, physical manipulation, financial abuse, like spiritual abuse, sexual abuse. Like all of this was happening around me. And I had no context for it because we didn't talk about it. So for me to get to a place in my life where I was like, I've repeated a lot of my patterns from my childhood without being aware of it. And they've gotten me into a mess. And now I'm unraveling that and looking at it so that I can clean up my mess and make different choices for my future so I can be happy.
Yeah.
I want to offer that gift to my daughter. I want to share these stories with her, even if it feels like, even if it's hard for her to read it, or if she can take it and do whatever she wants with it. She never has to read it if she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
But I wanted to write this and give it to her so that she knows what I was experiencing through my own words when she was a kid, when she didn't have the conscious awareness. We don't remember shit from being, I barely remembered shit from my childhood. So I'm like, I need help.
You're like,
help me.
But it is such a great act of love in that way too, because you're like, I wasn't going to be the best mom I could be if this stuff was in my way, if I wasn't able to see clearly. And so like to go through that pain and observe it is an act of love for her. And like, I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah. And I was just once I got divorced, I was terrified that I would create another relationship just like the one that I had left. So I was like, I can't date ever again until I go through the process of writing this book. Like, I need to understand.
I always think when people are like, they, isolate or something after that, I'm like, no, that's magnificent, because like people who have been through those traumas literally don't have the neural pathways to make a new relationship. So they do need to be alone and build a security and foundation and heal these things. So they realize it's not the giant monster that it literally was, but like it's something new and you're the adult driving the car now. But it's like, that feeling is, it's so exciting when someone can get through it and then make art that helps others, because it is so abstract and huge when you're in it that it's like, well, I'll die here. Like, of course, no worries.
Yeah. And I was like flooded with fear. And I'm like, I'm not a fearful person. So I'm like, what is this terror inside of me? So I just did, as I was writing this book, so much therapy. Like I was going to acupuncture weekly. I was going to a somatic therapist every week. Like, I'm not talking about talk therapy. I didn't do any of that.
No.
I did everything I did was body work. Rolfing, which is like structural.
Oh, baby,
deep
you better
tissue.
know I've been done Rolf the house down. I love Miss Ida Rolf. Thank you for inventing that.
It's so good. Oh my God. And my Rolfer had her own personal story. I mean, I wrote about this in my book, The Mamas, that I worked with, these surrogate mothers. She had her own personal story that I related to, and I was like, this is really helpful to hear women who are further down the path than me, who have come through the other side, because I was in the middle, the messy middle. And when you're in that place, it's like you're in the dark forest. You can't see your way out.
It's alchemy.
So
You're transmuting.
Guides,
yeah.
You're like a caterpillar melting in the cocoon.
100%.
Yeah.
What always makes me laugh about like, you're becoming a butterfly. I'm like, bro, if you're a caterpillar, nobody's telling you what a butterfly is. Nobody tells you you're turning into that. You're like, I'm melting. I'm dying. Like
I'm dying.
Like they're not like, I'm going to be a butterfly. Like they're not like a poster on their wall. Like, no, it's like, you don't know. It's a leap of faith. You're like, I'm just going to die. Like, and then you become a butterfly.
Do you think that the butterfly somehow senses its potential?
For sure.
You think?
I think it literally has to, like evolutionarily.
It has, because it's like, what is it crawling towards? I don't know.
A metaphor.
My mom
Beautiful
gave
sentence.
my daughter. I know. Like, my mom gave my daughter for Christmas a like butterfly habitat, and she's currently, there's a bunch of caterpillars in transit to my house right now for us to grow butterflies, and I'm actually really creeped out by the whole idea of this. Like, there's a bunch of caterpillars coming in a box.
Did you watch Drag Race when Asia O'Hara tried to release butterflies in her final lip sync?
No.
It was
what
rough.
happened? Did they die?
Bad. Like,
oh God! Don't. I'm nervous about it. I feel like it's going to be traumatizing for my kids.
And you know what? That's how you learn the life cycle. That's
It's true.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Hear that? It's SpringFest savings calling your name. Only at Lowe's. Right now, get a free Select Ego 56-volt battery when you buy a Select Ego trimmer, blower, or mower. Plus, get your choice of any 2 bags of Miracle-Gro organic soil mix for only $16. Shop these can't-miss deals in-store or online today. Lowe's. We help. You save. Valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Excludes Hawaii.
well, okay. So to this point, to this crawling towards something, it's like, it's so wild to me to hear you speak on this and hear how recently you've delved into the depths so actively, because I always speak on perspective, process, and permission, because I think those are the things that get us through the creative process of, like, you know, shifting your perspective, giving yourself permission to take up certain space or not, or other people giving that through their art. And my perspective, I actually have never seen Survivor or any of the episodes. I've seen your Traders episodes. I've read as much as I can of your book so far, which I adore, and Deal or No Deal Island. And so what I'm enjoying is my perspective of the you that came before you. Like, I get to see a fresh slate, but the way people treat you is like with this creation. Like, they almost treat you as your art that has come before you. And not having that context, I love, because I get to almost see like the glow around you that has been built through your artistry, with either embracing or not embracing perception and identity that you had no control over. And then you get to write this book and you get to be the editor, right? You get to be the person now choosing the perceptions. And it is like such a dance. And I'm floored right now, because in my head, I'm like, she's so aware, she's so conscious, she's built all this. And to know that you were doing it almost as the caterpillar, just intuitively crawling, I'm like, I'm floored right now. That's incredible.
Yeah, all this has been happening in real time, like over the past few years.
Wow. Because of your emotional awareness and your, like, at least what I've seen, it's like, and how dropped in you can be. And I think, the perception of, flirting and like Black Widow, it's like, well, people can read authenticity. And so somebody actually has to be feeling that way to get people to connect in that way. And so there's parts of you that are just so deeply authentic, despite, it's a game and all those things. But it feels like high performance art that you've been experiencing for a long time. Do you know what I mean?
I only work with people in games that I have an authentic rapport with.
And that's felt. Yes. In the same way you're talking about your book, it's felt.
Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, she's putting it on. I was just at Joe Manganiello is the host of Deal or No Deal Island, the show that I'm on right now with NBC.
It's time of my life. I'm really loving that.
Oh my God. It's like, he's so great.
Yeah.
And I was over at his house because he does watch parties at his house. And one of the EPs is over there. And he was like, the EP was like, Parv. I had this conversation with Philip, who was my ally in the game for a bit. And then Philip told me that I was weaponizing his childhood trauma against him because I'd called Dr. Will, one of the bullies who'd bullied him in middle school or something. And that was not my intention, like at all, to like use his trauma against him. But he really felt that and like projected that onto me. And then he wouldn't talk to me for 3 days. I had no idea.
That was 3 days in between?
3 days.
That's a long time on an island.
And I would keep coming up to him. I'm like, Philip, can we be friends again? I thought he was mad at me because I'd lied on the hammock challenge with him, but he'd also lied. So I was like, I don't get it. Like, why is he so mad at me about that?
Yeah.
I know he's sensitive, but I was like, that's strange to me that he won't talk to me for 3 days. So then finally, right before a challenge, he comes and grabs me and says he's ready to talk. And I'm like, okay, kind of like fucking with him. I'm like, finally, yay, my friend is back. Like, what the fuck kind of a thing. Like, why haven't you talked to me in 3 days? But like kind of digging the, like twisting the knife in a 100%. Little bit. So we sit down and he tells me that he's upset that I said this thing 3 days ago. And I'm like, oh my God, I am so sorry. And I'm really like, I care about Philip. I don't know. I have a soft spot for people that are just like, have been through the shit, you know, and they've come through the other side. Well, you also connect with like,
soft spot because you see yourself in them. Like, it's like, you get it.
Yeah. And he's like really joyful and very smart. And I just think he's lovely. So I didn't want to hurt him. Mm-mm. And when he says this to me, I am authentically hearing it. I'm emotional. I'm moved by it. I apologize sincerely to him.
Yeah.
I also am aware that this is a disowned part of him that he is projecting onto me, trying to make me bad and him good. And I'm like, okay, well, that's manipulative. I'm aware of all of these things at the same time. And also, yes, I am sincerely and authentically apologizing to him. And I'm also playing a game. So Matt at Joe's house is like, you're full of shit. Like, you were acting when you were crying to Philip. That was an act. And I was like, no, that was real. Like, I really felt those real emotions, and I was really sincerely upset and that I'd hurt him, and I didn't want to do that. So it's funny that how people perceive me is I am this like conniving game player that's always kind of performing emotion when that wouldn't work.
No.
It just wouldn't work in these games. Like, that would be a bad actor. Like, actors really do feel the feelings, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not an actor.
Good ones. That's why Yeah,
but like good actors go to the place of feeling the real emotion so they can express it. Like, people would see through that immediately and get rid of me.
That's the hard part. Well, one, it's like, thank God your sort of career and like that can prove that, right? Where you're like, well, that's seen and smelled immediately. Like, I know I'm authentic. And one, what struck me, that whole interaction was very upsetting to me. And it was like, what I saw was Philip interacting with a perception of you, not the actual person in front of him. Because it was like, to me, it was like, oh, you were like, yeah, he bullied you, like connected. Like, there was no exploitation going on. And like, I didn't see it anywhere. And I could kind of see how maybe I didn't realize like he was divulging and how sensitive that might have been to him. But what disappointed me when that sit down you had, when you were like, oh, like, I'm sorry, because you're holding space for multiple things of like, I love you, I'm sorry, this is a game. Like, I feel sad that I hurt my friend. Like, I have respect for trauma and I don't want to step in that. And it was just, you could cry, you could feel those things that felt, but when you were feeling those feelings in front of him, like, I didn't feel it received by him. It was still the perception of this person who's famous for, using emotions to seduce or manipulate or whatever it is. And it was so almost like triggering for me to watch because I was like, hey, buddy, that's your friend. Like they are like she's in front of you, receiving you and holding space for multiple things. And I even game wise, I was like, Philip, like you actually it was trying to create a narrative around it and I was like, oh, it felt like rookie strategy. And I was like, so from all aspects, that was so interesting. And I'm excited to hear your perspective of it because I wonder how you've lived with that, dancing with people actually seeing you or kind of only engaging with a perception or projection of you.
It's been really hard to tell. And this is how I grew up as well. It's like,
it's a mirroring of it.
Yes, so much where it's like all of this stuff is put on me as a girl to be accepted, to belong. I need to be nice. I need to be kind. I need to give you what you want. I need to hold space for your feelings. I need to put your feelings ahead of my feelings. It's like, this is what we are taught. Yes. Whether you grow up in a cult or not, this is what
or just taught. Emotionally unstable space, like any
exactly like totally, which is the majority of people I think grow up in an unstable environment, whether it's at home or at school or in your neighborhood. So I can respect that for Philip, but then when it's not given back to me, I'm like, oh, this feels familiar and it feels shitty. It's like, I'm so used to getting judged by what I look like, what people have seen me on television to be. But even before I did television, I was being judged based on my behavior, my appearance, whatever I said or didn't say. Like every girl is, you know, like we all are. So then it's just become this kind of larger than life experience that I play with in these games, which I love. I delight in playing these games. I have so much fun. And I look at life as a game. And I think it's fun to do that because I can zoom out on myself. I can zoom in. I don't have to take things too personally.
Yes,
I don't have to
part.
be too sensitive. Yeah, like you can have fun with your life if you're not internalizing everything and making it like mean the worst or whatever.
Yeah.
So like play life as a game and it's a lot more enjoyable. So I'll do that and it gives me the opportunity to look at myself. And if I'm on a show and on a screen and edited as a character, I can see how other people perceive me. And I can look at myself like that. So then it really has required a lot of slowing down, which is really hard for me. I like to move fast.
I feel like if whenever you and I meet in person, we're gonna be like,
yeah, I know. This conversation could go on for like 12 hours.
100%.
I like, oh my God, I have to work so hard to slow myself down and to look at what is me, what is real, and what someone else's. Because people are always projecting their stuff onto me as if I'm like some kind of blank canvas for them to paint whatever picture they want to think of me that makes them feel a certain way about themselves. So I'm like, I need to know myself.
Pepsid Complete knows that food is one of the best parts of game day. That is, until heartburn strikes. Thankfully, just one chewable tablet of Pepsid Complete provides dual-action heartburn relief with an antacid that starts working instantly and an acid reducer that lasts all day. So you can stay focused on that second helping of chili without worrying about heartburn. All day based on 8-hour symptom relief studies during the day. Use product only as directed.
Hey, Fidelity. What's it cost to invest with the Fidelity app?
Start with as little as $1 with no account fees or trade commissions on U.S. stocks and ETFs.
That's music to my ears.
I can only talk.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Zero account fees apply to retail brokerage accounts only. Sell order assessment fee not included. A limited number of ETFs are subject to a transaction-based service fee of $100. See full list at fidelity.com/commissions. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Well, it's also weirder for you because like you are, because of your life experiences early on, and you know, like you didn't even realize that this was a unique gift, but you see them while they're painting. Whereas other people just get painted on and then they have conflict or whatever, but you see someone painting and you're kind of like, hey, why are you painting? And they're like, no, I'm not.
Yes. They're like, I'm not. Yeah, I'm like, you are.
You're like, wait, what? Like, I'm covered in paint and it's not me. What? Like,
no. Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that was what I was taught as a young kid. It's like you be
complete. And I similarly understand where it's like I'm like learning about like masking, and I think people of all identities, neurodivergent, like queer, like there's so much masking and performing, and then there's this sort of devastating grief that you have when you realize the parts of you that you were masking, because people always say like, oh, you were hiding, as if it was an active thing. You're like, no, I learned how to live in this world, and I thought that's how all of us were doing it, because no one can talk about how we do it in here. And it's, you realize then it's like, oh, that's a condition I was taught, that's how I survived. And then breaking up with that part of you that learned to adapt to people's needs, or, you know, preemptively accommodate and make people feel safe so you could get your needs met as a child, per se, you know, that part of you, like you have to love and be like, thank you for getting me, you know, a place to sleep, a healthy mind, getting me to adulthood. But also now people are then saying it's inauthentic or whatever, having their judgments of it. And it's heartbreaking for everyone involved.
Yeah, especially if you're in the public eye too. Like, I really feel for the people that were thrown into the public eye very young. And I was 23.
You're 25. You're 23 when you started. Jesus.
Yeah, 25 when I won.
Let's go.
Had no sense of self. Like, none.
Not even a fully formed brain. Yeah.
Yeah, like I created myself based on, it was like a hodgepodge of whatever, like Britney Spears, you know, and like.
And also
Buffy
in
the
reaction
Vampire
to what
Slayer.
people were telling you, you were at a young age.
Yes, exactly. And like what made me popular, what was acceptable, like what people liked. And then I was that. And as I was writing my book, I broke the first section of it up into survival modes. So it's flight, fight, fawn, freeze. And when I didn't know this word fawn. I thought survival modes was fight, flight, freeze.
Well, famously, that's all they taught us. And then all the fawners were like, which one am I? I guess and then it's like,
right.
Oh, we're that one. Oh, we're that one.
Yeah, you're fawn. I only learned that like not even 5 years ago. So I'm like, this is me. I am fawn. And then I read this incredible book that it was like, I wrote about it in my book as well. I referenced it and put it in the resource section at the back because it was so helpful. But people are not going to pick this book up. It's called Surviving Complex PTSD or something. And it's like, looks so dense, like a textbook.
Did you get the workbook? Because you better know I did the one with the workbook.
Yeah. Have you read that? You have it. Of course.
Absolutely. You know we're
so
type A's.
Helpful.
Oh my God. Well, that's what I think your book is doing.
Yeah, like people have a certain survival adaptation that kind of they lead with, whether it's fight and they're always ready to like have conflict, or the road rager who followed me to my daughter's school yesterday because I cut him off in traffic. I was like, okay, chill, buddy. Go take a gummy.
I know. And then your whole body is kind of like, let me like radiate, not like a repellent. Like,
yeah, I'm like,
yeah, literally.
Fight is not my go-to. It's just not. Fawn is what you're a fawner.
Oh yeah, big time. Like in this, and I think you're probably similar, where it's like in a practice speed that is like, it's imperceivable, where it's so quick to immediately like, hey, like.
Exactly. And it's you lean forward and you're so engaged, and like people eat it up because we are starving for people to see us.
And at the same time, the second they see you, it's like, oh no, like shoot, like the facade I've been told I have to hide by, you know, the people that have conditioned me is going to be revealed. So then I'm putting them in harm's way. And your whole body has been created to protect others and not yourself. And it's like,
yes.
Yeah.
That is like, highlight that. You're that's so valuable for people to hear, that your entire body has been created to protect others and not yourself. And that's where the grief is. When you finally can recognize that and hear that and see that, it's like, that's devastating. That's like, you weren't protected when you needed to be protected when you were a child. You were always put out in the world to defend for yourself. It's survival everywhere. That's why I did so well on Survivor. It was a continuation of high school and college for me. It's like the same arena.
100. And I even see you, like, I was about to speed past that. You even slowed us down. And I appreciate you for slowing us down on that moment and highlighting that, because it is, and like now, like, having a little bit of insight into you, I'm excited to eventually begin my journey on Survivor, because I'm like, of course, this is the person who, like, I see, like, their experiences in life, like, they'd be brilliant. There's not a question. Like, to me, it feels like it'd be such second nature, because it's like, oh, the things that I had to do to survive can now be rewarded. Yeah, hell yeah, let's do that.
I know. I'm like, I know how to do this. But then, like, what I didn't think about or consider was the aftermath of playing the game. And now it's on TV, and now everyone can judge you and form their opinions about you. So there was this disconnect between the experience of it, playing the game. I'm really good at. I really immerse myself in, like a method actor. I am just in. I know.
Like, I'm like, your inner child deserves that. Like, it's like, oh, I'm good at this. Yeah.
Yes, it's so fun. You're gonna pay me to do that? Yes, please.
Of course.
But then it's like, people are, it's so triggering for people, Mo, when they see a woman, I think, who is confident and likes her body and is able to, like, walk around in a bikini and not be like, oh, I'm fat. Oh, don't look at me. I'm like,
you think I'm pretty? Thank you. Like,
yeah, like, get over it.
Get over it. I've seen a mirror. Of course I'm pretty. Like, fuck you.
I did a dance with Joe. Okay, Joe, as you know, I'm sure, was on Magic Mike. So sexy.
Yeah.
And he does these, like, sexy stripper dances on Magic Mike. It's, like, iconic and so fun. So I am out there as a fan of his from Magic Mike doing an iced tea dance with him because it's iced tea time. Too cool.
You nerd. I love you for that. That's so cute.
Oh my God. I'm such a nerd. And they posted that dance at the NBC Instagram. The comments, you would think that I was, like, out there just mowing down children, like with a Tesla truck or something, like
naked.
Yeah, people are like, oh, how dare she dance with him? He has a girlfriend.
Disgusting.
I'm friends with his girlfriend. They said that. Disgusting, repulsive. Oh.
It's also, everyone's so intimacy starved, where I'm like, you know what? You can actually have boundaried relationships with opposite sex and also have a sexual chakra open, and you're not like betraying, like, what 1950s bullshit.
I'm not trying to bone down on Joe in the middle of the like, I'm not. I think he's great. I love him.
But even like it doesn't even matter. You're like, in that moment you're dancing with someone, like, you are not.
Yeah.
Oh, it is triggering for people. Like, you are not going to apologize for who you are. You have, like, enough experience in your life where you know it's not ego, which I'm sure people have told you it is. And you're kind of like, no, I love to have fun and I love my body and living this life, and let me dance with the fucking Magic Mike dude. Let's go. Like,
I know. I'm like, who's in Magic Mike? Here's my chance.
I can't tell you, I completely forgot because I don't think I watched the first one. But if I was around, yeah, that's the first thing. I would be doing bits all day about Magic Mike. Like,
that is how I know Joe. I didn't watch True Blood. I'm sorry. I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. Like,
Magic the Gathering found dead. Yeah. But so
I think
wild.
It's like that's why I also want people to read this book. I feel like this book will find its way. My book will find its way into people's hands who need a little juice in their life, who need a little boost, who need some of this power, who, like, want permission to step into the fullness of themselves. Like, stand up, take up space. You deserve it. Be beautiful. Let yourself shine. talk loud, have a good time, enjoy your life while you have it, because who knows how long it will be. I mean, we're all going to die, so live while you can.
Say that. And like one of the things I enjoy, and I wish I had been able to finish, but the parts that I've been able to read, I do believe they have the similar effect of, finally reading complex PTSD or like Stop Walking on Eggshell, like the classic books. Like when I'm reading yours, what's nice about it is that, people who are at least attempting to heal or aware of it are, on this Instagram, this world, like, and everything isn't embodied. It's not lived in. It's like an infographic of like 6 signs you could be dying of this. And it's like 100 reasons your art will never get made. And you're like, cool. When it's like, it should be like, go do a cartwheel for those people. Because if you're in that mode. But what I like about your book that I think will give people that same relief of reading those trauma books. And it's not a trauma like, memoir, but you speak about your experiences so intimately that I think it's important to highlight, because you're not tying it up in a bow. You're just feeling it with us and showing it. And then it's like the healing part comes from us knowing who you are and what you've done with your life. And then we get to see this and we go, holy shit, she was doing all this with this. And that is an experiential learning. Like we get to experience what you did and go, oh, other people are judged for that. Oh, I might judge myself for and it's like, it is those relief. You're lifting and permission to so many people. And I think you're doing that. And that's why I'm excited to see like what aspects of you it heals that you don't even expect. Do you know?
Oh, that would be great. Because I'm like, I just want to have a good time at this point. I mean, let's enjoy ourselves and create what you want to create. Thankfully I've gotten to a place financially where I'm like not stressed. I'm okay. I can, take my time and say yes to the things that really light me up and say no to the things that would be draining. And I wish that for everyone. I really do, because it's so liberating to be able to create what's yours to create and to take your time.
Take your time, but also, like one, I just want to have fun too. Like the way Sudi, Albertina, and I, my dear friends, are always kind of like, we want to make our art and then lay in a dog pile together in the sun. Like, it's like, I want to lay with my dear ones and like be nonverbal, and then we can yap and make art. And it's so important to get to that space, but you do have to kind of fight for that freedom and that joy. And you have, obviously, over the course of your life, but almost like logistically, I'm curious, when you were so misunderstood during these times, were you internalizing that and like being like, okay, like self-gaslighting almost, like, okay, maybe I am this, maybe I am manipulative, or were you just kind of keeping your head in the ground and then choosing to, okay, let me capitalize on this perception and do this show? How was it active in that way?
I was not in a place where I knew who I was when I won Survivor. When I played Survivor at 23 years old and when I won Survivor at 25, because the way that I had to win that game, because of the way it's structured, it's a game built on getting close to people and then using them for your own gain. So when I was done and I won, I was like, I'm a shitbag. Like, I'm a terrible person. And that message was being reinforced over and over again. It was like, I use people for my own gain.
Yeah.
Like, what a bad person I am. And people would say, oh, she's using her sexuality to exploit men. And I was like, oh yeah, I am doing that. Though I hadn't been hooking up with anyone like other people had on the show, I was the one who was called a slut. I was shamed for that. And I wrote about that in the book. So you'll get there when you read like chapter 3.
Just, again, I'm so floored because for people to hear about your awareness in all of this during the freeze, because to know that, like, I don't know, just to know that someone who has such a tap in with spirituality, again, was, what was our butterfly quote? Like crawling towards something. I just think is so inspiring to people, because it's like when you don't know your process, when you're in the mess, even when you're saying maybe I'm bad, like it's, if the voice doesn't ring true, then keep crawling towards something.
And we're not taught that we're good.
Say
We're
that.
just not taught that we're good.
Say
regardless of our behavior. It's like I have been playing a game called Survivor that's built on deception and betrayal and manipulation. And I won. But it's a game. But then when I come home, everyone's like, oh, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. And I haven't been taught I'm good regardless.
Yes.
Like I'm
a foundation.
I'm good. You're good. You're good inside. I love, there's a parenting expert called Dr. Becky, and her whole platform is called Good Inside. And I'm like, that's revolutionary, because we're taught that our goodness is conditional and it's based on our behavior.
Productivity, behavior, 100%. Yeah.
And that is such a trap, especially for women and especially for people who get into heteronormative marriage. Mm-hmm. It's the performing of good that drains your soul and drains the life out of you.
There's no presence in that. You're constantly doing.
And that's why I ended the book with the Mary Oliver quote, I don't have to be good. I just have to let the soft animal of my body
love what it loves.
Love what it loves. And that is it. That is the key
Wild
takeaway.
geese, baby.
Yes.
Miss Mary also, the way, I don't know if that poem resonates with you, but Mary's journey as far as like understanding self and queerness and identity has been similar in that way, where she just was kind of like, it wasn't necessarily like she was having like active. It was just, she was kind of like living her life and discovering as she goes and just kind of like, okay, I guess this now, like, which I think is so heavenly.
Well, that's it. I've never had a 5-year plan for my life. Mm-hmm. When people asked me that, I'm like, no, that's crazy, because things change and they change fast sometimes. And I think that playing these games has really supported me in being able to surrender control, allowing the present moment to, I receive the present moment, especially writing the book too, coming through my divorce. There's been a full letting go of judgment, not like judging people. Like my daughter's dad raises her very differently than I raise her, and it's not good or bad. It's
not in your control. Yeah.
Yeah. And like Philip plays how he plays. It's not good or bad. People have the reactions that they have based on their past experiences and the way we've been conditioned. And that's it. It's nothing is either good or bad. It's not black and white. I've come to this place of non-binary where I can accept the wholeness and the fullness of a situation without judging it. And then I can align with myself and be like, okay, how do I want to move through this moment by moment by moment, without too much expectation on what's the next moment and how can I be safe for the next 10 years? It's like, who knows? I have no idea. The fires happened in California, like unexpectedly, people's homes burned down. I'm like, you can't know. And I think that is like, you can practice that kind of way of living where it's like, yeah, okay, surrender and accept the now. And then, show up and do the best you can in this situation. And then kind of like, what's the filter that you make decisions in your life?
Where's your focus? What are you looking to find? Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think that makes life really fun, because then it's not about, for me, it's not really about planning and preparing. It's about an expectation of, I'm good. I know how to live life in a way that works for me.
Expectations are big.
Yeah. And my priority is feeling good. Like, I prioritize my pleasure in a massive way,
which triggers people. That's why they're triggered.
So triggering. I know. But Mo, fucking get triggered, bitch.
Like, good, heal. Go examine that. Go look at that.
Heal. Yeah. That's not about me.
Like, you're welcome. I triggered you. Like, wouldn't you like this pleasure? You actually deserve it, and I want it for you too, even though you're being horrible to me. Like,
totally. I want that. I want everyone to prioritize their pleasure. What a better world we would live in.
Oh my gosh, what a better world. And I think what's so heavenly about what you're saying is that, I think what I've come to is knowing that, like, when you've experience, like my sister and I joke with like, we never saw like a future. Like when people are like, where do you see yourself? When we were younger, we're like, and when like things are tense or you have hard experiences, you both are, you know, there's dissociative, which I love you get into the differences of, but there's dissociative moments, but they also offer you the ability to not look to a future or a past, to be completely present in a moment. And I think for people like you who are like discerning that actively and now to a place where you've grounded it, it's exciting to be like, I don't know, just to think about the differences and where we are present and where we give ourselves that permission. And sometimes when it's close to the pain, people don't give themselves permission. And you're like, hey, no, it's close to the pain. And also, let's party rock. Like, let's use it for the good that it can give.
Yeah. And I mean, healing needs a witness. So,
amen.
If you can be that for yourself, cool. That's why I like parts work so much. Because there's
Eternal
so many
family systems. Let's go.
Parts. Yeah, you get it. I know I could talk to you like this.
Yeah.
But there is a witness internally.
Yes.
Everyone has it.
Yeah.
You have a wise adult part of yourself that can zoom out. You also have this infinite part of yourself, this undying part that we don't know what it is or where it goes, maybe the soul or something, but that is always witnessing. So if you can be in that place of the witness, and you can look at the part of you or the little girl that was hurt, or like in Philip's case, the boy that was bullied, or, you know, in different parts and places of your life, if you can have that aspect of you. But it's really hard to do that by yourself. Like, it's very helpful to do it in relationship with a skilled person.
But so even in those moments, so I think I'm curious to how, and then we have a final segment, but just one more question. So I'm curious to, in those moments with like the Philip, because it's not necessarily the little boy that was triggered in that moment. It's maybe the like teen that wants to be good at this game and impressive and like is activated and so not hearing you. But I think you see when people are triggered so easily. And I'm wondering how, because you've worked on yourself, how do you dance with like kind of not sticking around to help them through it? Just kind of going, that's yours, because you're saying there's such acceptance, and I'm wondering how you do that, because that takes a lot of strength.
That's been a process because I really want to help people.
Yes, like, 100%. Yeah, and you
I
can
want
see
to
it.
help you heal so badly. Yeah. And I have worked. It really was through trial and error, through learning how to be a life coach, like truly to hold people's stories and hold them, and for me to see that for me to become non-defensive too. Like when Philip is dumping on me in that moment, for me not to be like, what the fuck? Like, you're dumping on me, like, and throw it back at him.
Yeah.
So I can receive it and then also say, okay, I'll take this from you. And now I'm going to set it aside.
Yeah.
Because my priority in this game is to win this game. My priority is not to heal you or help you heal. And also, it's really not my responsibility to take on his baggage.
And it never
so
is.
When I see him doing that and I'm experiencing this as he's not receiving the apology, this isn't a repair conversation, he's not open to it, I can see that.
Yeah.
And I can say, okay, not mine, and put it aside. Because it's not going to be helpful to get into Philip's lane and to then start to clean up his side of the street. It's like, oh no, it's sort of the serenity prayer.
Yes.
That supports me with that. It's like, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. My brother was addicted to drugs and alcohol. I went to Al-Anon. Like, I've been working on this shit for a long time, Mo. So I know.
Well,
keep my side of the street clean.
I ask because
That's
you know
all
I've
I
been
can
to,
do.
you know I done been to the Al-Anon. So I ask because I know that that's a difficult thing you're doing, and I think it's very like, I wish people could see you as Atlas lifting the world, because that's not a small feat when you've survived by helping people. And it's like to be able to go, no, good luck. And also you who has experienced pain and loss of this. That's why I'm like, oh my God, like that is gargantuan for you to be able to practice at all, let alone actively and consistently. It's like really beautiful. And I'm excited for those who have experienced loss and also wanting to caretake to see that and see how it manifests.
And we're taught that, like we're taught that we're women, especially, are the more helpful we can be, the better person we are.
Good. You're good if you save and take care. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, now because I'm not taking care of Philip and helping him clean up his side of the street, I'm bad.
Well, and it's so funny because when you said parts work, that's what I thought when I was watching it. Because it was like you were holding space for the part of you that's playing the game, the part of you that's this. Whereas in the immediate scene after, he was like, "What? That apology meant nothing because you're not giving this to me now." And it's like, no, buddy, you're not parsing these out for the parts because that was a human part and this is a game part. And it was just interesting to see when people, and it's not good or bad. It's not evil or anything. It's just he couldn't parse that out in that moment. And maybe that was his game. We don't, necessarily know, but it's
I don't think so, honestly. I think he's very sincere.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to chat with him later today. He wants to talk. So
okay.
I guess we'll find out.
Is it about since post airing? Is that why he wants to talk?
Yeah, because the show just aired. And
when did it film?
So I think we filmed it last July 2024.
Okay, so this is cooked a little.
Yeah, but you know what? Also, I used to be really freaked out about these kind of conversations, and now I'm just like, it is what it is. I'll chat with him. I'll hear him, whatever he wants to say, because it doesn't mean anything about me anymore.
Yes.
This is I've gotten to the place where I'm like, I know I'm good. I know what my intentions are. I'm never trying to harm someone. And I'm not trying to manipulate someone. I really am not. I want to move myself forward in a game. But I would have rode to the end with Philip if he would have met me at a place of trust. But he never trusted me. So, and I felt that. So I'm like, I'm not going to.
That's apparent. And also, I think you are willing to take accountability if you needed to. That's why you're not scared of those conversations. Because it's people who can't take accountability and be like if you were to feel that he presented something that was wrong, you would go, oh, okay, yeah, you could process that without feeling defensive. But people who can't take accountability can't have those conversations.
Right. Well, and it sucks.
I know.
To be to hear that you've hurt someone. It sucks. Of
course.
So it's like you have to be able to handle pain, emotional pain.
Yeah, I appreciated the way you did that because you were hurt and you were also like, but I got to take it on the chin. Which to me is how you process it. And you don't make the pain your thing. You don't take it, but you go, this sucks. And okay, I hear ya.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you have a very busy day. So I want to get to our last segment really quick. And also, we will continue and kiki more eventually.
Okay, I know. I want to hang.
I do too. So
to get together live in person.
Oh yeah, truly we'll have a group that'll hang with our mutuals, and it'll be very fun.
I love it.
But the final segment, I do think you would appreciate is called "Thank You for Holding My Poems," and it's based on the Russian poet Anna Akhmatova, who, under revolution, a bunch of Russian poets during the Great Terror came up with the Gutenberg, I believe is the name of the printing press, the system they called it. And because it was illegal to publish their poems, they would have each other memorize different edits, different poems. So when you wanted to edit it, you would give it to another friend and they would memorize it. And so I told my best friend Sudi this story, sobbing. And a little bit later, maybe a few weeks, I remembered a detail from her life, a random moment, and she just offhandedly goes, oh, yeah, thank you for holding my poems. And to me, it was one of the most meaningful, concretizing of an act that we do for each other as artists, as friends, is we hold sort of messiness. We hold moments that might not be big, but mean something. Even if it's a hello from a barista, or it's, making the greatest art of your life, or winning Survivor. And so I'm wondering if an abstract moment or a literal moment comes up for you when I say this story, that is a poem that you'd like us to hold, or that has been held for you by someone that means something to you, and if you'd like to share.
An actual poem?
So poems are abstract. To me, a poem can be a compliment when, for me in my play, it was this nurse on the worst day of my life bumped into me and was like, oh my God, you're so pretty. And it was just human connection. So that is a poem to me. But also, Miss Mary Oliver, if there's a literal poem that has made you feel seen or an important moment, then share that away too. Poems are anything you want them to be.
There are so many moments.
I know.
Oh,
that's why I'm like, I should do an episode that's all poems because it's like, it's so Pisces. It's so abstract. But I'm like, what's your poem?
I love it. You know, I think it's like anyone that will stand with you in the dark. Okay, so when I was in the mess of grief of the loss of my daughter with the initial stages of the custody split, my brother had recently died. Like the divorce was happening. Like there was so much loss. And like I couldn't find I couldn't locate her, my daughter, in space. And it was really it just like ripped my heart out of my chest. And I would go for hikes in the Santa Monica Mountains.
Beautiful.
At West Ridge Trail. And it was like church. And I would hike and this song would come up and it would be Persephone. It would be about daisies. And then Persephone would pop up on my Instagram.
I just got chills.
And then Persephone and Demeter and that story of Persephone's abduction by Hades and the mother who just was like the goddess of the harvest who just ravaged the earth and was like, I can't find my daughter. I'm going to torch the earth and humans won't be able to eat. And I'm sorry, but like, go fuck yourselves. Like, give me my daughter back.
Here's winter, bitch. Let's go.
Oh my God. That myth came to me at the time that I needed it the most. And it made me feel so connected to humanity from like, I was like, I'm not the first woman who has dealt with these feelings. And I won't be the last. And this has been a feeling or a state of being that women have experienced since mythology was created. So however long that was. And it just connected me to like a timelessness that helped me through it. It was like
to myth.
Magic. Yeah, it was magic.
Well, and for listeners who don't know briefly, Persephone was kidnapped by Hades and taken to the underworld from Earth. And Demeter, her mother, the goddess of the harvest, couldn't find her. And so she created winter. She burned no harvest for 9 months, I believe it was. And then
Persephone becomes, like, she lives in the underworld against her will with this man who's taken her and stolen her innocence. And then she develops her own power in hell. Like, she learns the game. She empowers herself in that place, becomes the queen of hell.
Literally becomes the queen of hell.
And then her mom makes a deal with Zeus, and then she gets her back.
Yes, and then with her comes back the fruit. With her comes back the pomegranates.
Spring.
Like, yes, and so that is so. I like what I find in that, not only part of myth, but like at that moment, that myth found you. It's like, how are you not connected to all that? How is there not something so much bigger that in that moment when you need that story finds you? I mean, you can't miss God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever people want to call it.
Like, I pinch myself. I am so, when you talk about the liminal space and being a Pisces, like, I walk that line as well. And that is what makes life so fun. I think to know that there's something bigger than us happening. I've had moments of connecting with my brother who passed many times since he passed. I mean, I played Survivor and like, Australian Survivor last summer, and his name was on the back of my name card in like a Ziploc where I put my necklace.
He's a unique name.
His name, it's Kaylin. It's like, it's not. And in the way it was spelled,
with like the AE. Yeah, 100%.
Girl, yeah. There's something more than what we can see going on.
That's crazy. That's not a name. Like, what? And it's not crazy at all. It's like, it's heavenly, but it is like you want to shout it from the rooftops because you go like, we're all still here. We're all connecting. And like, that's so amazing.
It's cool.
Oh, that's so heavenly. I love that poem. Thank you so much. But Persephone, our first Persephone poem. And, I'm definitely partial to that.
Yes.
I love a queen of hell.
I know. And I related to every character in the story too. It was like, oh, I'm the mother, I'm Hades, I am Persephone. I was all of them.
Which is true.
So it was really
myth. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Because it helped me walk through that with less judgment of the situation.
Of all people involved. Because then you're getting to not have the personal associations of your former partner.
Yeah.
You're like not having to have those, and you can just see it as Hades, or like use it to see that. It's such a relief sometimes when you get to do that and see yourself from all aspects, and there's so much more forgiveness involved then. Because you're just letting go of it for you.
Lightened it up. Exactly.
Because I did that with Medusa, that myth. Like the way we're recontextualizing a lot of them in a feminist perspective, I'm like, let's go.
Let's go. My client was going through a divorce and she had Medusa came to her. Mm-hmm. So it's just these women, these ancient women, goddesses, they'll come. Let them in.
If you look for it, right? Where's your focus? Like you were saying, like I'm looking for alignment with everything that is, and it'll show up.
Yeah.
Oh, you are so heavenly to talk to. Okay, so I need to say the book so people, you can pre-order now. Nice Girls Don't Win, How I Burned It All Down to Claim My Power. Is there anything that you want to let the listeners know to tune into, to speak, to live, to anything?
Tune in. I started a podcast called Nice Girls Don't Win with my friend Amy Bean, who was a producer on Deal or No Deal Island when I did that. And it's a blast. We are finding our way. It's definitely a creative process, but it's fun to have listeners on the ride with us.
Say that. And we're living, we're learning.
Yeah, so that's my latest.
I love that. Well, I'm so grateful that we connected. And I end every episode with that poem, with that compliment by giving the listeners and you a compliment. And I say, oh my God, you're so pretty.
Oh, thank you, Mo.
You are. You glow inside out. Worse Than You with Mo Fry-Pasek is hosted by me, Mo Fry-Pasek. You can learn more about this week's guest and the Worse Than You team by checking out the show and episode copy. Worse Than You with Mo Fry-Pasek is executive produced by Erica Ghetto, Mariah Gossett, and Lauren Mandel for Good Get and Disco Nap Productions. Oh my God, you're so pretty.
It's like, looks so dense, like a textbook.
Did you get the workbook? Because you better know I did the one with the workbook.
Yeah, you read that? You have it. Of course.